Have you ever pulled a gel print and thought, well, that's not very good? I know I have. But over the years, I've discovered something surprising. The prints that teach me the most are rarely the ones I would frame or give away. They're the ones that make me stop and look. Today, I want to talk about the difference between a good gel print and an interesting gel print, because I think interesting is where growth happens. If you've watched this channel for a while, you know that I don't believe there is one right way to use a gel plate. I am much more interested in exploration. A good print is usually easy to recognize. It has pleasing colors, a strong image, and perhaps you'd be happy to put it in a frame or give it to a friend. But an interesting print is different. It may not be especially pleasing, but it suggests possibilities. It makes you curious. Sometimes an interesting print is messy. Sometimes it's incomplete. And sometimes it's just one small area that catches your eye and make you think, there's something here. So today, instead of demonstrating a technique, I thought we'd look at a variety of prints together and ask a simple question. What makes a gel print interesting? Gel printing is a little different from other forms of printmaking. With techniques like lino cutting, etching, or lithography, you spend time creating a permanent plate and then print multiple copies from it. Once the plate is made, you have a pretty good idea of what you're going to get. Gel printing doesn't work that way. It's a form of monoprinting, which means every print is unique. You roll out some paint, add a stencil or a few botanicals, make some marks, pull the print, and then do it all over again. Even if you tried to recreate a print, it will never be exactly the same. That's part of what makes gel printing so accessible and so much fun. But it's also what makes it challenging. It's very difficult to put paint on a gel plate and know exactly what you're going to get. In my own practice, if I get 1 or 2 prints out of a batch of 10 that are actually what I had in mind, I consider that a pretty good day in the studio. But that leaves 8 or 9 prints that weren't what I was aiming for. And here's the interesting part. Some of those failed prints end up teaching me more than the successful ones. They make me stop and look a little longer. They make me ask questions. They suggest a new color combination or an idea I hadn't considered before. So today, I'd like to talk about the difference between a good print and an interesting print. So this print gives us a finished feeling, whereas this one doesn't. It feels more like a beginning. This print has a very pleasing set of colors, whereas this one has some unexpected combinations. This print has a clear focal area, whereas this print raises questions. I like the circular patterns in the background. They echo these curving shapes of the vegetation. This one I could see framing and hanging on my wall. This one I feel is experiment worthy. And although this print lacks some contrast, I could certainly see exploring this idea further. This print I like. It makes me very comfortable. I feel like I achieved what I was trying for to combine the texture and the botanicals. This print makes me curious. I really like these interesting shapes here in the background. And although I don't feel that the stencil over top of it really improved it a lot, there's still much more here I'd like to explore. Of course, these categories aren't fixed. One person's interesting print is another person's favorite. The point isn't to label our prints, it's to learn to look at them differently. And if I had to choose only one while I'm learning and exploring, I'd choose interesting every time. Because good prints make us happy. Interesting prints make us better artists. But that raises an important question. How do we recognize an interesting print when we see one? Over the years, I found myself asking the same few questions whenever I'm sorting through a stack of prints in the studio. These aren't rules, and there are certainly exceptions, but they help me decide whether there's an idea worth exploring further. Here are the 5 questions I ask. When I look at a print, I'm not asking, is this a good print? I'm asking, what catches my attention? What surprises me? What would happen if I push this idea further? Is there something here worth exploring? What is this print trying to teach me? Those questions have taught me far more over the years than simply asking whether I like a print or not. That will help me decide. Should I make another print inspired by this one? This print caught my attention early in my gel printing journey. I had been working with botanicals for some time, and they hadn't largely been terribly successful in my opinion at the time. But when I printed this one, it caught my attention because I realized that the shapes that were not plant, the negative shapes, were very, very interesting in this print. It made me think more about how I arranged the plant on the plate before printing it. This one surprised me. I had a plate all set up with this botanical in this blue-green color. And I just grabbed this background print, which is actually in transparent red iron oxide and purple, to print it on. And then I thought, oh, that was probably a bad combination. The green holds its own against the transparent red iron oxide. This one made me ask, what would happen if I pushed this idea further? This print is a bit confused. There was texture on both layers, and it competes a little. But I do like the colors, and I do like the energy from the texture. So this one makes me want to pursue that idea. Maybe calm down the texture in one of the layers and let the other layer dominate. This print made me ask, is there something here worth exploring? And I think there is. I really like the texture that's within these shapes. And I know I could use these round stencils and rectangular lines and things like that to create a wide variety of patterns. This one surprised me. It was basically just a clean-off sheet. I had a bunch of paint on the plate from other things I was doing, and I wanted to simply get rid of it and move on to something else. So I threw down this piece of paper, and look what came up. I love the fact that there's not a lot of contrast in this. I like the shapes and that sort of fuzzy background. This is definitely a piece that I think I'll use in my collage work. This one taught me something. Be really careful when you position your stencils on the plate before you actually start your work. This stencil just slipped off of this branch a little bit, or perhaps the branch moved after I put the stencil on, and now I have a gap. And that's really all that's separating this from a wall-worthy print. I have learned so much over time from my clean-off sheets. So these are just tissues that I use to clean the plate off at a certain state to get it down to the place that I want it to be able to carry on with the print. I love the ones where I've actually used the same clean-off sheet twice. Sometimes I find these a very interesting source of inspiration. shapes that I wouldn't have thought of or colors that I wouldn't have thought of combining become really interesting. This is a simple clean-off tissue from a project. And again, I've kept it because I just find it really quite interesting. And I know down the road I'll have points in my life where I will lack inspiration and I'll be looking for what should I do next. And you know, as I thumb through these guys, I keep them in a separate little file. I'll pull this out and I'll go, oh, you know, I'm going to explore that idea again. This is another clean-off tissue that I used more than once. Once for the geometric shapes and once for the botanical shapes. But look at that. Isn't that interesting? I ended up exploring this further and developing it into a series of prints. After you've spent some time looking at prints this way, you stop asking, is this a good print? And start asking, what is this print showing me? And I think that's really the point of gel printing. Not to pull a perfect print every time, but to remain curious. So the next time you're standing in front of a pile of prints, take a closer look. You may find that the print you almost discarded is the one with the most to teach you. After all, good prints make us happy. Interesting prints make us better artists. If there's one thing I'd like you to take away from this video, it's this. Not every print has to be successful. Some prints are simply part of the conversation. So this week, I encourage you to pull out a stack of prints from your stash and spend a few minutes looking at them with fresh eyes. Ask yourself, what caught my attention? What surprises me? Is there an idea worth exploring further? If you'd like to explore these ideas more deeply, the Gel Print Lab is my online course designed to help artists move beyond following recipes and begin developing confidence with the gel plate. We explore color, layering, botanicals, texture, and perhaps most importantly, how to become more curious and intentional in your own practice. I'll leave a link in the description below. And if you'd like occasional studio updates, new video announcements, and information about upcoming courses, I'd love to have you join my newsletter. You'll find that link below as well. Thank you so much for spending some time with me in the studio today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Until next time, keep exploring and see where your gel plate takes you.